Good day, everyone. Uh, Today is the beginning of our class, and we're starting with installation of Python and IDE for typing our code. Now, first of all, you have to check if Python is installed on your system. For those using MacBook, Python is being installed, but it just depends on which type of MacBook are you using, the year of the MacBook, because if you are using an old MacBook, it means your Python will be having Python 2.7 or version 2. The 2 version. But if you're using the new or the latest MacBook, you should be having 3 points on it pre-installed. But for those of us using Windows, we have to check if MacBook is Python is being installed on our system. Although Windows doesn't have it, but let's still check. You might be using your brother's laptop or someone's laptop in which is already installed. So let's check. Then you type Python. Typing Python like this, it tells me there's Python on my system because it brought out apps that's related to the spelling of this Python here. Or better still, go to command prompt, then type in py, then it tells me Python 3.8.2 is being installed. Or let me exit. You say Python, you spell it completely. No, sorry, the spelling is not right. Like this. Aha. If you spell it like this way, it also tell you that Python 3.8.2 is being installed on this system. Now let's exit, and this is when Python is being installed. But assuming Python is not installed on your system, actually I'm offline now, but I should have shown you the step on how to install it. So just come here and type in download Python. And it brings it in. So just click on this download Python, click load the page. The first option it will give you in Google is the web page for you to download the Python. So that's how to download Python. Let me uninstall my own Python in long run. Then let me show you on how to install Python from start. You don't need to go through this. I'm just trying to uninstall mine, so I will be able to install from scratch. Uninstall. So while it's uninstalling, let me talk about Geany. The IDE we'll be using to run our code, which is Geany. Although there are so many IDE, we have Geany, we have Visual Studio Code, we have Notepad++, and many more. But that's the three I could think of now. There are so many IDE, but the one I prefer most is either I use Visual Studio Code or I use Geany, and I like Geany so lot. Maybe because I started with Geany, so I like Geany. So how do I download Geany? Also, you have to load Google Chrome and or anywhere website web browser you're using. Then also click type in download Geany. As I've earlier said, I'm offline, so I'm able to show you on how to download it. But just put it in download Geany. The first web page it will also give you is where you have to download Geany. And as at the time of making this video, the present Geany or the latest Geany we're having is 1.37.1. That's the latest. Since my Python is still not installing, let me keep explaining about Geany. So once you've downloaded your Geany, it saves it to this folder, to your downloads folder. You'll find your Geany here. Are you with me? It will save it to this folder here. But in the case of mine, it is not here because I pack my file. I do section them. So I've sectioned this to documents for my own here. So I'll come to setups. So these are all the setups I have on this system. I have the setup of Python, and I have the setup of what? Of Geany. You get? So now I'll double click on this setup. Although yours will be under downloads, but mine is under documents. I'll double click, then you say you continue, yes, and then you will install it. Just keep saying okay for everything. Like it said, Geany has already been installed. Do you want to remove the previous version before installing the new one? Then let me just say yes, and let's see Are you sure you want to completely remove this one and all these components? Yes. Because mine, don't worry, every of my files are backups. So this is how the installation goes. Okay. Then you agree. Next and install. Can you see Geany is missing on the system now? The Geany icon was around this region before, but it's missing now. Missing now. Then don't click on this do not create shortcuts. Let it create the shortcuts for you, so it's able to show up here again. Then let's install. In the long run, my Python was successfully uninstalled. Now let's go back to this thing. Let me uninstall this one too, so I will install Python from scratch also. Now the Py launcher is gone. Now everything is gone. So now let me install the Python just like finish. If you want to run the Geany byte from after installation, you can click on this, then you finish it. So this is the environment for Geany. But for now, let me just say, since there's no more Python on my system, if I'm to the first step I went through, if I'm to put it on, I don't bring anything like that again. Can you see there's no Python on my system again, but I'm still having the run command, like the setup for heat, but I'm not having Python on my system. Or I go to command prompt and type in the way I did it earlier. Can you see P is not recognized because I've uninstalled it. Now this is the environment for Geany. If I'm to type any code here, print hello world, just like a Python install, print hello world, and then save the file before you run it. So give it a name. Let me claim it first code fi.py. So when saving a Python file, you have to end it with .py. That's the extension for heat. Otherwise the code won't run, even though Python is installed. Now let's execute. Can you see? P, that is Python, is not recognized as an internal or external command. So now let me install the Python. Let me go back to my setup here and install the Python just like yours. And now there is giving you two options. Now this is how yours will look like. Click on this add to path first. Now you can customize and you can install directly, but I would rather advise you to customize your installation. Then you next. So just rub this off. So it means I want you to save this Python with the way this my location looks like. It means I want you to save it in my local disk or my hard disk. Create a folder called Python, and inside the folder create a folder called Python, and inside the folder put in this app, then install. Yes, then the setup begins. Although this might take some time, but it doesn't take long time. And again, the Python I'm having on my system is Python 3.8.2, which is not the latest. The latest as at the time of this video is 3.10, if I'm not mistaken. That's the latest. So it's always good to it's advisable to download the latest Python because it comes in newer library and the modification of the former ones. I also will upgrade mine soon to the latest. I guess this should be the last step. It's taking long. Now that's all. The Python has been setup was successful. Then after this, let me come back here and run the code and let's see whether it will run or not. Can you see? Now it means Python is now installed on my system. But if this still doesn't work, uninstall your Python and make sure you add Python to path the way I explained earlier. So that's all of what we'll be doing now on how to install our environment and Python for executing the codes. And in our next class, we'll be going to data types and variable. Thank you.